Dwayne Pauling drove to work every morning past a succession of landmarks: downtown Vienna, a small suspension bridge, and a graveyard. He returned at night by the same route. One night it was fairly late when he was returning from his job at the power company, and night had already fallen. As he passed the little cemetery on the hill, he glanced over at it as usual. Suddenly a young man jumped out in front of the car, and Dwayne couldn't stop in time. Not until he had hit him. He hurriedly got out of the car and rushed over to the injured youth, who looked up and said, "Don't travel any further. The bridge is going to collapse." Dwayne knew the man needed medical attention, and he went back to the power plant to call an ambulance. After he called, he returned to the scene of the accident. The young man seemed to be badly hurt, and when the ambulance arrived he was rushed to the hospital, but he was pronounced dead on arrival, still unidentified. Dwayne left his telephone number with the hospital attendants and told them to call when they found out the man's identity. Meanwhile, Dwayne called a construction company about the bridge. An inspection showed that the main suspension wire had been cut. If even one car had passed over it, the bridge would have fallen. Feeling that the young man had saved his life, Dwayne wanted even more to find out who he was. A day had passed, and the hospital officials decided to place a description of the youth in the Parkersburg Sentinel newspaper, hoping that someone could identify him. That night an elderly lady came into the hospital and asked to see the body. When they showed it to her, a look of pride came over her face. The body was that of her son, Alan Shaw. The hospital officials asked her what she wanted done with the body, and she told them to put it back in the grave. He had been killed 5 years before in a car accident and had been buried in the cemetery near the suspension bridge. They called Dwayne and went out to the graveyard. Alan's grave had been dug into and the body removed. The hospital officials passed it off as vandalism and a strange coincidence, but Dwayne couldn't. He knew that Alan had saved his life. But how?